and we might fall along the way, but that's only gonna make us stronger. Hello learners, Leon here. You know, I used to suffer from a lack of productivity. In fact, I still do suffer from a lack of productivity. And over the years, I've come to learn that a lot of the time this lack of productivity comes from a lack of clarity. And a lack of clarity, I've also learned over the years, often comes from a lack of the ability to ask good questions, especially towards yourself. A lack of ability to ask great reflective questions. So whether you're communicating with yourself and you're trying to improve your thinking, improve your habits, gain self-awareness, or whether you're asking questions to somebody else to find out something about them or to help them reflect on their own life, today I want to share with you 4 practical steps you can take to start asking really good questions so you can point yourself and others in the right direction. You ready? Step number 1 is to really start with a purpose, and the more specific the purpose, the better. Maybe you're trying to figure out what school you want to go to, what job to take, right? Which girl or guy to date, right? Or you're just trying to figure yourself out, right? Like, what goals should I have? What kind of life do I actually want? What should I be doing every single day to move me closer to where I want to be, right? Maybe where you want to be is a place where you're making more money, a place where you're more physically healthy, more emotionally healthy, more mentally strong, right? What do you need to do? What do you need to figure out? So regardless of what it is, I want you to now write it down on a physical piece of paper. This is an opportunity for you to honor and recognize the importance of listening to yourself, of understanding yourself. So take this opportunity and write it down. For example, my purpose for this reflective questioning exercise is to live my fullest every single day. I want to figure that out. I want to figure out how I can live my fullest every single day. What does that even mean, right? Which kind of moves us into the second step after figuring out your purpose of this questioning process, is to figure out what are the clarifying questions that you need to ask. And clarifying questions are questions that acknowledge the facts, questions that acknowledges what happened, and questions that also acknowledge your feelings and your perspectives on the purpose you've chosen, on the topic that you've chosen. So you're really trying to figure out the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the topic, and you're trying to make sense of the situation. So for example, I'd be asking myself questions like, why am I trying to live my fullest? How am I not living my fullest right now? What would I want to do to live to my fullest? What am I doing right now such that I'm not living to my fullest? So those are some of the examples that I would ask. Now remember, it's good if you can ask yourself open-ended questions instead of close-ended questions. Open-ended questions are questions that don't have a yes or no answer. So instead of asking yourself, do you feel sad? You would ask yourself, why do you feel sad? How do you feel sad? Or do you feel happy? Why do you feel happy? What made you feel happy? When did you feel happy? So do not ask yourself close-ended questions unless they're gonna lead to an open-ended questions. You know what? And sometimes when we do this, we have this inner voice that likes to judge us. And in order to ask these questions properly and answer honestly to yourself, you have to be able to confront that inner voice and expose yourself to that inner voice. But that inner voice might sound something like, for me, for example, when I ask myself, how are you not living your life to the fullest? My inner voice says, man, you are wasting time. It's because you're wasting so much time. You spend time on YouTube, you watch videos that have nothing to do with your learning, and you read manga, you read all these stories, you waste time on the internet. Not that there's anything inherently bad about those things. You can do those things for enjoyment or just to let off steam, to de-stress. But man, Leon, there are so many better things that you could be doing instead of doing that. You're such a horrible person. Stop! Right? At this point, you really want to stop. You are not a horrible person, right? You are not defined by the thoughts that you think to yourself. So after you've asked yourself enough clarifying questions and you understand the situation, you know exactly how you feel, and you haven't lied to yourself in some weird way, you want to move on to step number 3, which is to ask yourself purpose-driven questions. Well, you might be thinking, okay, what's the purpose of these questions? Good question. The purpose of the purpose-driven question is for you to make inferences about how you feel and your situation, so you can figure out the intended or unintended consequences of your decisions and your actions. At this stage, you really want to figure out how things could be. You want to figure out what is the outcome that you anticipate, right? What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario, right? How would you taking action towards a certain direction affect your relationships, affect your finances, affect your time, your health, your energy, right? You really want to figure out also your motivations. This is now a deep dive into the reasons why you want to make a certain decision, right? Why do you want to go to that school versus that school? Now is the time when you want to deep dive and expose the core motivations behind it, why you're in this process in the first place. What are you trying to figure out and why? And it's better to go down deep into the basic human needs, right? So for example, if I were deciding whether or not I should quit my job, whether or not I should switch jobs, right? I would ask myself, okay, Leon, why do you want to quit a job? A surface level answer might be, this job doesn't pay that much, right? A deeper level of answer could be, I don't feel happy. And even deeper, one that goes into the basic human needs would be, I don't feel valued. I don't feel significant. So according to Tony Robbins, there are 6 core human needs that affect our well-being. And I'm not going to go deeply into each of them because you can easily look them up online. But as I list them, I want you to see if you resonate with any of them. If any of them are the source or origin of your problems, or what you're trying to figure out by this reflective process. Okay, so the 6 core human needs are the needs for certainty, variety, love and connection, contribution, growth, and significance. So those are the 6 core human needs. I think for me, when I say I want to try to figure out how to live to my fullest every day, I actually have a core need for significance and contribution. And I think those 2 things are really what ends up driving me at the end of the day in terms of this area of what I'm trying to figure out. And sure, there are other needs involved, right? Like love and connection would be great, like connecting with other people that have similar drives. But my main focus is the drive to be significant and the drive to contribute, as well as the drive to grow, I guess. So those are all things that I know that I value on the top of my head. So now I want to move on to step number 4, the final step, which is asking linking questions. And linking questions are questions that allow you to consider the relationships between your goals and aspirations, your beliefs and values, your behavior, as well as your connections. And by far, I think asking these questions are the hardest because you literally have to sit down and figure out how you can connect your current experience to your goals and aspirations and a core need that you might have. And obviously these questions are an attempt at you trying to understand yourself or whoever you're asking these questions better. And so a question that I would be asking myself would be, why am I doing things in my life that don't make me feel significant, that don't make me feel like I'm contributing? And a lot of time when I try to answer these questions, it often ties to another core need, right? Maybe my habit of watching YouTube videos actually represents my need for certainty. I don't like to take risk, and I know deep down inside that in order for me to be significant, I have to be able to take risks. In order for me to grow, I have to be able to take risks, right? If I watch a YouTube video, if I read a story online, I can't fail at that, right? Maybe I'm looking for this false sense of growth, right? That I've learned something. Maybe in reality, I'm holding too much onto my desire for certainty, that I'm actually giving up on the opportunity to be significant, to contribute, and to grow. And upon realizing that, you really want to ask yourself the second type of linking question, which is, so what? So what? What are you going to do about it? How are you going to change your mindset, right? So what, Leon? So what? So what if you feel like there's a place that you want to be, a place that's more significant, but instead you're holding on to this need for certainty? Well, Leon, you need to realize that sometimes you can also find certainty in becoming significant, in the process of becoming significant. That you know, as long as you put yourself out there with the risk of failure, that you can be certain that you're moving forward. And so all of a sudden that shifts your mindset a little, and then you ask yourself again, so what? So what if you can be certain that taking risks will put you on the path to becoming more significant, contributing more, and growing more? So what? So what can you do? Well, maybe then I can stop watching these videos. Maybe it's okay, right? Maybe it's okay to actually try something new. Maybe it's okay to not care about what other people think. And so what? And so what if you don't care about what other people think? And so what if it's okay to take a step out and make life worth living? What would you do? Well, maybe I would be making this video for you right now to help you learn about this thought process, this transformation that I'm going through, the struggles that I'm still struggling with on this journey to become more significant. Do you finally get the power of being able to see who you can become, and finally understanding that you can actually take the steps you need to take to get there? I think that's one of the most empowering realizations ever. It's that we are not defined by our circumstances and our situations, that we can actually step out there and make a change, make an impact, one step at a time, and we might fall along the way, but that's only gonna make us stronger. And remember, at the end of the day, the conclusion that you come up with might not even matter as much as the process of going through these questions, of having the courage to ask yourself these questions, of taking the time to listen to yourself and understand what you really actually want, and what you really actually think, and how you really actually feel. Hey, listen, if you found this video helpful at all, I'd love to invite you to be a part of my journey to impacting 10,000 lives with these videos. I don't know how long that's gonna take or how I'm even gonna do it, but we'll figure it out together. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.